Hello everyone and welcome to How to Teach Master Scuba Divers. And in this presentation you are going to hear from a series of presenters. We have Erica Hoffman, Manager of Shows and Events, myself, John Carlin, Manager of Marketing, and also Sue Lee Wong, who is one of our consultants in the Training Quality Management Department. Now I'm going to hand over to Erica, who's going to talk through what we're going to cover this evening and begin the presentation.
Hi there and welcome, and thanks very much for tuning into this webinar, and it's great to know that you've got an interest in hearing about the Master Scuba Diver credential, and we really hope that through the webinar that we'll be able to help you increase your Master Scuba Diver interest and uptake, and of course the associated sales. And to ensure that you're making the most of what is a very highly versatile and sought-after credential. So this evening, what we're going to look at is why you'd want to bother selling the Master Scuba Diver credential in the first place, and also why the divers would like that credential, who your potential target audience is, or even audiences, how best to plan and conduct your Master Scuba Diver programs. And then we'll also cover marketing, because of course it doesn't matter if you know what you want to do and how you're going to do it, you still have to make sure that you've got some good marketing ideas and initiatives in place in order to capture your audience. Okay, so let's move on now. Let's have a look at why the Master Scuba Diver recognition is so important. Well, this credential is a recognition of a diver's overall knowledge, skills, experience, and of course their overall achievement. Now, some describe this as the black belt of scuba diving, and it's an important and worthy aspiration of divers, and it's a goal they can set for themselves right at the very beginning of their diver education. So for those who don't want to travel down a professional route, and there are many people who don't want to choose that path, it's an alternative challenge and goal. However, for many, it's also an additional credential to aim for alongside their path toward a PADI professional rating. With respect to Master Scuba Divers and those working toward the rating, these are really important customers for your business. The program strikes a really good balance between continuing education, which is our philosophy, and encouraging your divers to actually go out and dive. What this means is you've got customers who are actually interested in very often in local diving. They're interested in diving holidays, and they're interested in equipment ownership. So the nature of the Master Scuba Diver program means that it can be completed in small bite-sized chunks over any period of time, long or short, and it makes an ideal long-term goal for your customers. Most importantly, the divers are the ones who are really going to benefit from the program. They become motivated to continue their education, their exploration, and of course their understanding of the underwater world, which is our philosophy. They become empowered to set the goal to fulfill their own potential as PADI divers. So what I'm going to do now is pass you over to Sue Lee. She's going to walk you through the program standards. Of course, you'll be familiar with them, but this is just to remind you of what they are.
Thanks, Erica. Okay, so yes, as Erica said, a quick reminder for you all what the prerequisites for the Master Scuba Diver certification are. So you need to be an advanced open water diver, and you also need to be a rescue diver. Now, these core specialties can be equivalent certifications from different organisations or training agencies. They also need to have 5 PADI specialties. These specialties need to be PADI specialties, but we are quite flexible with these, and these can be diving specialties, non-diving specialties, and also distinctive specialties. So if you have a specific distinctive to your area, these can also be included in the prerequisites. They also need to have 50 log dives, so that proves their diving experience, and this can include the training dives as well as pleasure dives that they've done. So once your students meet these requirements, you certify them using a Master Scuba Diver application. This application can be downloaded from the PADI Pro site. Remember, you don't use a PIC for this certification, and there are several reasons for this. The application allows you to verify each of these prerequisites that we've just been through here by confirming the number of dives the students completed and by listing out all of their qualifications individually. It also means that you have the option for the student to pay for the application, so you don't need to purchase a PIC envelope for them. Divers who become Master Scuba Divers will receive a certification card, but they also get a wall certificate which demonstrates their achievements quite nicely, and it comes in a nice pack. The application fee for this is £28 sterling, or €33 plus VAT where it's applicable in your area. Your student can pay for this using payment details on the application form, or they can contact us directly in customer services if they prefer to do so. So as a quick reminder, just for you all of you open water scuba instructors, you can also certify Master Scuba Divers. You don't need to be a Master Scuba Diver trainer to do this. So I'm going to hand you back over to Erica, who's going to talk about your audience.
That's lovely. Thank you very much, Suli. Okay, so who is your audience? Well, you might already have a specific target audience that works for you, but keep in mind not to limit yourself. The audience for this credential is really massive. The Master Scuba Dive credential is relevant really for all divers throughout your business. Ideally, the Master Scuba Diver seed should be sown during the open water diver course, and that's really early on in their education. So it's not after they become a certified open water diver, it's whilst you're actually conducting that training. Certainly by the time a diver's qualified to advanced open water level, this is something they really ought to be targeting. They'll see a path through for them. For those of you who are listening who do a lot of proactive marketing already, you'll know that the sooner you put this goal on a diver's radar, the sooner he or she will begin to tick off those specialities and to build their dive experience with this goal in sight. Of course, rescue divers who come to you, they're a clear demographic, but I'm sure that many of you are already marketing the program to them. So it's going to appeal to them for very obvious reasons. And for some of them, this actually might be their choice between going down the professional route, a more technical path, or choosing the Master Scuba Diver route. However, do keep in mind that these various routes are not mutually exclusive. It is possible, and sometimes it's even beneficial, to complete more than one of these paths at the same time. Of course, certified dive masters who are likely to be interested, are likely to be interested in becoming Master Scuba Divers, because this credential, it allows them to develop a different aspect of their experience and training through additional speciality training. And it enables them to attain recognition for having done this. So, for example, they may have a natural talent for one or more of the specialities, and nurturing this by using the Master Scuba Diver avenue, it ensures that your certified assistant is skilled and knowledgeable and experienced in that particular aspect of diving, so it's ultimately going to benefit you as the instructor and support your teaching efforts. And then, of course, we've got divers from other diver training organizations. They can utilize the Master Scuba Diver program as well to become a PADI diver. So as already mentioned, the equivalent advanced open water diver and rescue diver certifications can be used. Suli spoke about this in the last slide. And depending on their other existing credentials, they can then focus on the PADI specialities available to gain the balance of the training required to be able to submit the Master Scuba Diver application. So you can see there how varied that audience is, right the way from non-diver all the way up to PADI professionals. So, how are you going to create your Master Scuba Divers? Well, most importantly, you need to make sure that it's a proactive goal from a training and a marketing perspective. Now, don't wait for the divers to occasionally pick up enough certifications or specialities to be able to apply for it accidentally. As I've just highlighted, it's really important that you encourage and support them in their ambition right from the very outset. So you want to clearly advertise your speciality courses and keep those Master Scuba Diver options varied and appealing to your customers' different demographics. So if you look at the slide that's up on the screen now in front of you, these are a few different examples of the sorts of approaches you can take, and I'll just go through each one to give you a bit of an idea. The drip approach is aimed at all divers, but it's basically what you're doing there is marketing a different speciality each month over an extended period of time. And hopefully you all realize already that PADI markets and supports you with this through our Speciality of the Month promotion. And I know that John, who's on the line this evening, is going to be talking to you a bit later about some more marketing. He'd probably like to just tell you a bit more now about the Speciality of the Month promotions that we do and what's involved in those. John,
thank you, Erica. So I'm going to cover it on the next slide, but it's something that we do on a monthly basis. And we have created a toolbox which consists of a variety of things that you can use to market to your customer database. So this varies from images that you can use for your blogs and your websites relating to that particular diving specialty or specialty course. It has graphics and artwork that you can use on email signatures and on web banners. There's also things that you can use for social media as well. So a real kind of varied and exciting toolbox that you can use to inspire your divers to take up that particular specialty course that you're promoting that month.
Thanks, John. Do allow your divers to enroll into one speciality at a time, which spreads the cost and the time of the training, but it continues to provide you with a steady income. And also make sure that you schedule your advanced open water and your rescue diver courses in line with your specialities, not just sort of randomly throughout the year, so that you've got a logical progression that your divers can see in front of them from advanced open water right the way up to the MSD credential. The next bullet point down there you'll see is the advanced open water to Master Scuba Diver connection. Well, this enables the divers to complete the specialities toward their advanced open water diver certification. And this is quite a neat little way of doing it. So what happens is your students forget the advanced open water diver certification. They are focusing on completing 5 specialities. So they have to complete underwater navigator and also deep diver. And what will happen, the final speciality in whatever the 5 are, the sequence, has to be the deep diver one. So they will complete the first dive of the deep diver speciality. And once they've done that first dive, remember they've completed the other 4 specialities already, they have just finished the last requirement for the advanced open water diver credential. So what that means then is they can then go ahead and finish the deep diver speciality. And this whole process results in a diver who has done 5 specialities and during the process has gained their advanced open water diver credential as well. It's a really nice way of them achieving that. So all they then need to do is to complete their rescue diver certification and obviously meet the minimum log dives requirement to get their Master Scuba Diver credential. But just think about it, having done all those specialities, think how many dives they're logging on the way as well. So it's an excellent option if, for example, you're working in a domestic market where your students can progress toward their advanced open water diver over an extended period of time. The next one up there on the slide is the open water diver integration. So it's a powerful way of introducing the speciality diver concept, obviously, and certification to your students through the open water diver specialty links. So, for example, many of these specialities can be partially taught alongside the open water diver course, with your students simply completing the balance of a specific speciality during a 5th training dive after they complete their last open water training dive. So if you want to have a look at the links in your instructor manual on this, then go to page 36 and then you'll find more details. But think about it, you've got some specialities that lend themselves very nicely to this option. For example, boat diver, dry suit diver, altitude diver, enriched air diver. If your divers are already learning about these and working with these particular specialties within the open water diver course, you can then finish the performance requirements in one more dive after that, and they've earned themselves the speciality associated to the one they've been using during their open water diver training. So once they've gained that extra credential, that speciality certification so early on in their training, it's going to become very natural to them to want to attain more speciality diver certifications. And again, this will help them to move toward that advanced open water diver certification. And again, just think about it, it links right back to the advanced open water diver to MSD connection that I was talking about a few minutes ago there. So in addition to linking to speciality courses, your open water diver courses, you can also link your open water divers to the rescue diver course. So you can really get them enthused up front on something that they have yet a while before they can achieve, but you can get them, dangle that carrot in front of their faces. So again, on page 86 of your instructor manual, this explains that the open water dives can be, excuse me, it explains what open water divers can participate in with regard to rescue diver knowledge development and confined water sessions. So what it does is it allows you to maximize the attendance on your rescue diver course, because obviously it opens up your sessions to open water divers and advanced open water divers who may not have signed up for your particular rescue diver course at that point. And it gets them interested in what they might experience as a rescue diver student. Something to keep in mind is that open water divers do need to have attained adventure diver status, including underwater navigation, before they could take part in any of the open water elements of the rescue diver course. You've got a topic-specific way of looking at the MSD program. You could tailor your programs to a particular interest or environment. So think about it. You could offer a cold water Master Scuba Diver program, and in it, for example, you could include dry suit, nitrox, rec, deep, and equipment specialities. You could give it a really cool title, right? Don't ask me to think of one. I have one, but it's just probably a bit naff, so I'm not even going to say it. But you could think of a title to use as a marketing teaser there. Other options might be an eco Master Scuba Diver program, and that could include, for example, underwater naturalist, aware shark conservation, peak performance buoyancy, digital underwater photographer, and possibly project aware as well. Or, thinking of what I was saying earlier on, you could go down the more technical route and offer a technical MSD program, which could include recreational side mount, gas blender, SMB diver Tech 40 and Tech 45, something like that. For people, for example, who are interested in the media, you might have, you know, people from a particular type of employment sector that would be interested in something like that. For those coming from the media or interested in the media, they might want something like self-reliant diver, digital underwater photographer, peak performance buoyancy, nitrox, and dry suit diver. I think you can see that the key here is to have various options that would be of interest to a broad range of customers, to ensure that your marketing also highlights the theme of your topic and why that might appeal to a particular demographic. And then finally there you've got your holiday blitz. So far from the drip approach that takes an extended period of time, This is a real zap where you can take your divers on a dedicated speciality holiday, conduct 5 specialities over the course of the holiday. Again, be sure to tailor those specialities to the holiday environment and market the package accordingly to maximize the holiday sign-ups, of course, and the speciality sign-ups. So, for example, you could give your package a name such as Red Sea Liverboard. And it could include specialities such as boat, drift, performance buoyancy, digital underwater photographer, deep, underwater naturalist. I mean, the list goes on and on. And it's ideal where you have a dedicated diving trip or a liverboard or a dive intensive week. So there you can see from that slide you have so many different ways of creating your Master Scuba Divers. So now you've heard about how to create them. Now let's hear about how you're going to market those programs to create them from John.
Thank you, Erica. So yeah, having now organised your training, it's really important to market your courses effectively. And having different routes to the Master Scuba Diver credential, as you've seen, it's all important. So during and certainly by the end of any PADI course you conduct, make sure your divers have heard you talk about the Master Scuba Diver qualification and reference their current training in relation to it. So make sure they know what else they need to do to achieve the Master Scuba Diver goal and how you can help them do it. And the more you talk about it, the more they will subliminally want to achieve it. And by talking about it, you're cross-marketing automatically many courses, so really don't underestimate the business derived from planting the seed early. Now keep in mind that many of the specialty courses don't require formal classroom or pool time, so the MSD credential is an excellent revenue generator for yourself for relatively minimal financial outlay. Now you can leverage the PADI specialty of the month, and this allows you to piggyback your own local marketing efforts on the work being done by PADI, and of course this will support your efforts for maximum impact. Now the current specialty of the month calendar goes as follows, and in January we as the office market the PADI dry suit diver course. In February it's the emergency oxygen provider. In March it's underwater navigator. In April, it's the peak performance buoyancy specialty. In May, it's the drift diver. In June, we market the deep diver. July is the wreck diver course. In August, it's the boat diving specialty. September is the search and recovery diver. October is night diving and the night diver specialty. In November, it's the digital underwater photography specialty, and December it's the enriched air diver course. Now it's really important that you follow up on your divers training using email templates, and be sure to send each person you certify a congratulatory email with details of their next steps, including the MSD option. And you can use some fantastic pre-designed email templates to assist you with this. So please speak to your regional manager if you'd like more information. And of course, on a related note, if you don't already use it, ask your regional manager about a system called EVE. This is the electronic virtual employee, and this is a very powerful dive center CRM, the customer relationship management tool, and amongst its many functions it can be used to easily organize your divers and their training, and allows you to communicate with them easily. Now, I previously mentioned the different parts to a new specialty of the month toolbox that we've designed for you to use, and in there are these new email templates, as I mentioned, along with images which you can use on your website and blogs. There is artwork which you can use across your different social media profiles, and we have some text which you can use for electronic newsletters as well. So it's a really fantastic resource that you can use to market to your customers at the right time and inspire them to take that next step. Now, another really great example of marketing can be used with something like the Master Scuba Diver board. And this is a board of honour which you display in your dive centre, where you can list each diver who achieves the Master Scuba Diver goal. And of course, people like to be recognised for what they achieve, and a photo with you and holding their MSD a certificate on a dedicated wall or area will get lots of people talking about that and asking about what the Master Scuba Diver certification is. Now, also consider you might want to feature an electronic board of honour either on your website and or your blog and other social media platforms, so that other divers can see their peers reach this MSD milestone. And it's amazing how someone's achievement motivates others. Now, don't forget, you can also create your own recognition merchandise, and this is a great way to celebrate someone's achievement. And these could be, or may take the form of Master Scuba Diver hoodies, t-shirts, baseball caps, key rings, and so on. And really think about your market and what people like to use and wear, and they can display their Master Scuba Diver rating with pride. Now, on a related note, whenever you're training divers and they achieve a new PADI credential, be sure to tag them and congratulate them on Facebook. This is a great way of showing the training that you offer and, of course, encouraging others to join in. And don't forget, your staff can and should be your biggest advertisers. Really motivate them to encourage students to sign up by rewarding them with and encouraging divers to continue their education. You might offer a monthly or quarterly prize for the staff member who gets the most specialty course sign-ups, or alternatively, you can provide a financial reward for each sign-up. So there's lots of different ideas, and we've got lots of tools available to you. And don't forget to contact your regional manager so that they can give you access to them. So handing back to you, Erica.
Thank you very much, John. Okay, well, now we'll move on to which specialities are you going to offer toward the MSD program. Well, actually, you know what? We've already covered a lot of this in the previous slides, you know, deciding on who your audience is, who you're going to market to, and what your particular conditions environment are. They all go toward deciding what specialities you will be focusing on. So ultimately, it's a decision for each dive center or instructor to make, depending on, as I said, your local environment, target audience, demographic, and so forth. Of course, your qualifications and experience will also play a part in it. Carefully consider the number of dives your program is going to include. So you may want to choose longer courses with 3 or 4 dives that require 2 or more days to complete. Of course, you can offer shorter programs as well that can be covered in just a day, or a mixture of both, depending on where you're heading with it. But you have this flexibility that means that you can offer a variety of prices and very flexible scheduling, both for your staff and, very importantly, for your customers. Do try and choose specialities that cover a broad range of skills. You know, keep in mind the all-round development of your divers in question, but obviously keep the coherent of a theme if you have one in mind. So as an example, you know, the digital underwater photographer and the peak performance buoyancy specialities go very well together, well, in the reverse order, I suppose, very well matched for those divers who are going on a diving holiday. And with regard to becoming a speciality instructor, for those of you listening, if you haven't already, if you aren't already specialities instructors, you can apply in a few different ways. The preferred option would be to contact a course director and complete the instructor training with your course director. Now, the added benefit here you have is they have the experience in the teaching of the techniques and the marketing ideas that's going to help to ensure that you deliver a very valuable and effective course. Don't underestimate the skills and the knowledge that they will be able to pass on to you that you wouldn't get otherwise. Time is reduced when taking the option with some topics because they can cross multiple specialities, and some course directors will be able to offer a full Master Scuba Diver training package. This is very common with course directors, so it will allow you to complete training in 5 speciality instructor ratings in very quick succession. Now, if you're suitably experienced in a specific area, and you can demonstrate your experience in teaching by having issued 25 certifications, there is an option for you to apply directly for that particular speciality instructor rating. So you'll need to purchase and thoroughly review the instructor outline for that speciality, and then if you have questions, please contact the training department for clarification. And what you can then do is apply using the speciality instructor application, and that's either online or obviously there's the paper version as well. Now, if you're not yet a PADI open water scuba instructor, but you're thinking about completing your IDC in the near future, Master Scuba Diver Trainer prep packages can often be included with your IDC training. So when you're talking to your course director about your IDC or your AUSI program, it's really, do think about asking them what they can offer you with regard to that Master Scuba Diver training package. Now, do remember, once you've got your 5 instructor speciality ratings and you've issued at least 25 diving certifications, you become eligible for the MSDT rating. So that's the trainer rating, and that reflects your experience as a PADI instructor and is obviously a stepping stone toward your IDC staff instructor, your own continuing education. And now, having the credential works as a great support to your own MSD marketing efforts, because your potential divers, participants, they'll love it that you obviously have the skills and the expertise to train them in the areas that they're focusing on. If you're a dive master or an AI, an assistant instructor, you can still offer speciality training by completing with a course director, a digital underwater photographer, or O2 provider instructor credential. You can attain those 2 speciality instructor ratings. And then finally, as you can see there at the bottom of the slide, we do have a sales offer that's associated with attendance at this webinar. It's to support your MSD, your speciality business development. So for a limited period of time, we are offering you the ability to purchase, pay for 4 speciality manuals, and you'll receive a 5th speciality manual free of charge. So if you would like more details of that offer, first of all, contact your product consultant and they'll be able to speak to you about it. But also, we'll be following up the webinar with a quick survey, and there will be more information about the sales offer in the email that you receive after the webinar is finished this evening. Okay, so just to say thank you very much for coming along and listening to our webinar. We hope that at some point during the 30 minutes or so that you've spent with us this evening, we've been able to share some ideas, some suggestions, some hints and tips on how to increase your Master Scuba Diver Master Scuba Divers coming through your dive center, and obviously increase your revenue. So wishing you all the very best from myself, John and Suli. We look forward to seeing you at another webinar in the near future.
Thanks everyone, good night.
Thank you, goodbye.